Anin Bouchou Tanzi Bonjour. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fred Meier. I'm the president and CEO here at Red River College Polytechnic, and I have the distinct honor of welcoming you all here to our Notre Dame campus. Before we begin today, I'd like to start by acknowledging that RRC Polytech campuses are located on the lands of the Anishinaabe, the Inaniwuk, the Anishinaabe, the Dakota, Dene, and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We recognize and honor Treaty 3 territory, Shoal Lake 40 First Nation, the source of Winnipeg's clean drinking water. We acknowledge the treaty territories which provide us with access to electricity that we use in our personal and our professional lives. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in a partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. RRC Polytech is committed to a renewed relationship and dialogue with Indigenous people based on the principles of mutual trust, respect, and reciprocity. I want to welcome the Honourable Chrystia Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, and the Minister of Finance back to RRC Polytech. When we welcomed you here last June, it was 30 degrees above, so we're giving you a taste of all the weather that Manitoba has to offer.
I'm from northern Alberta.
There you go. I also want to welcome the local members of Parliament who have joined us here today. The Honourable Vandal, the Member of Parliament for St. Boniface, St. Vital, Minister responsible for Prairies Economic Development Canada, Minister responsible for the Canadian Northern Economic Development Agency, Minister of Northern Affairs. Kevin Lamoureux, Member of Parliament for Winnipeg North, Terry Duguid, Member of Parliament for Winnipeg South, and Ben Carr, Member of Parliament for Winnipeg South Centre. Please join me in welcoming them. We are so pleased to welcome you back to the Notre Dame campus and for the opportunity to introduce you to some of the incredible staff and faculty and to meet students, which we did before this, and a great opportunity for our students and some children in our daycare here at the campus as well. RRC Polytech is proud to be Manitoba's Polytechnic. Our top priority is preparing students to thrive in a rapidly changing world of work and to build a stronger Manitoba together. Our programs are strategically designed to look ahead, to anticipate workforce needs, to prepare more job-ready graduates through work-integrated learning opportunities, and to offer more flexible learning options to our students. Today, we had the privilege of introducing the Deputy Prime Minister Freeland and our guests to a number of students and staff and faculty from across the college. When we met students in our early childhood education program, many of those students are here as well. RRC Polytech is proud to be one of the largest trainers of ECEs in the province and an international leader in research for early childhood development. And today, we are in the roofing lab in our School of Skilled Trades and Technologies. Our roots and reputation started more than 85 years ago in trades and technologies, with a big focus on experiential, hands-on learning. Over the last century, and especially as we've adopted Industry 4.0 technologies, the trades have evolved, but the demand for skilled workers remains higher than ever. I want to thank all of our students and instructors in the Skilled Trades program for joining us here today as well. And I also want to take the opportunity to welcome many of the employers and partners who are here this morning. RRC Polytech has built a strong reputation across Manitoba and continues to build new partnerships with industry and community every day. I would now like to welcome the Honourable Dan Vandal forward to say a few words. Megwech. Ekose Marcy, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fred. It's fantastic to be back here at Red River Community College. Tansi, Bonjour, bonjour tout le monde. C'est un plaisir d'être ici à maison à Winnipeg pour cet événement important. It's fantastic to be here, and I want to thank Red River Polytech for hosting us. Today, I'm very happy to welcome the Deputy Prime Minister to Winnipeg to discuss a topic that deeply affects families right across Manitoba and right across Canada for that matter, childcare. Childcare is not just a service, it provides crucial support, incredible opportunity for both children and parents. Au Manitoba, nous comprenons le rôle important qui jouent les services de garde aux enfants dans la vie de nos familles. C'est une base sur laquelle les parents construisent leur carrière, sachant que leurs enfants sont pris soin pendant le temps qu'ils travaillent. C'est un buoy de sauvetage pour les familles monoparentales qui comptent sur des services de garde de qualité. C'est le point du départ de l'éducation de nos enfants qui aide à leur réussite dans l'avenir. Our government led the implementation of $10 a day childcare and achieved our goal 3 years ahead of schedule here in Manitoba. We've invested in building more spaces and ensuring that childcare workers are being trained and paid well. This is all part of our plan to make life more affordable for Manitoba families. And it's not just about financial relief. It empowers parents to pursue career opportunities, knowing that their children are receiving quality care all across the province. It levels the playing field, ensuring that every child, regardless of their background, has access to the same educational opportunities from an early age. Yet, despite its importance, childcare access in Manitoba has faced challenges. Access to affordable, high-quality care has been difficult for many families, leading to difficult choices and leading to sacrifices. Parents have been forced to juggle work schedules, rely on informal arrangements, or even put their career on hold due to lack of accessible options. Our government is 100% committed to ensuring that every Manitoba family has access to affordable quality childcare that meets their needs. Together, we're building a brighter future for the next generation where every child has access to the quality care and the quality education that they and their families deserve. To make this announcement, I would like to introduce the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Chrystia Freeland. Merci.
Too. I need a bit of a booster seat there. Okay, I know it is a little bit funny. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today. I do want to start by acknowledging that we're located on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the Ojibwe, the Oji-Cree, the Dakota and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. I am so glad to be here. I am so glad to be in Manitoba. I am so glad to be in Winnipeg. I am so glad to be at Red River College. I am glad to be here with the amazing students, with the amazing dedicated teachers, and with all of the business partners of this fantastic school. And of course, and I do want to say, Fred, where's Fred? Thank you very much. Thank you for the warm welcome. Truly, this is a very, very special place, and I'm always so happy to be able to come here and learn more and more of what you are doing. And how nice it is for me to be here with Team Manitoba, my caucus colleagues. You've already heard from Minister Vandal, from Dan, Kevin Lamoureux, Terry Duguid. I call him Taras because of our shared Ukrainian heritage, and Ben Carr. Thanks, guys. And I do want to say to the people of Winnipeg, the people of Manitoba, you are represented by an outstanding team. It's a pleasure and a privilege for me to work with each one of them. When I was here last June, I had the chance to tour the college and meet the amazing women of the Women of Steel program. They are learning how to weld in a specialized, accelerated program here at the college, and they really inspired me. My dad actually always wanted me to learn how to weld because it's a useful skill on a farm. True fact. And It's wonderful to see women learning how to do it. I'm actually glad that none of them are here today, because that means they've graduated and they are out in the world doing important work and starting great careers. Before I start on today's announcement, I do want to make a note of some really good economic news we had for Canada this morning. So we got some GDP numbers about the economic growth of our country, and we're off to a really strong start in 2024. Real GDP grew 0.6% in January. That blew past market forecasts, which were forecasting a strong number, but it's even stronger. And the early estimates for the first quarter of this year are that our economy will grow at an annualized rate of 3.5%. That's a big deal in the first quarter. This comes following encouraging news we've had about inflation. Inflation was 2.9% in January. It was 2.8% in February. That's 2 months in a row that inflation has been within the Bank of Canada's target range. So I know that things have been really, really challenging for every single person in this room, for every single person in our country. This is some good news. It is better than people were expecting, and signs are pointing to a soft landing for Canada. So, a fair chance to build a good middle-class life, to do as well as your parents, or maybe a little bit better. That has always been the promise of Canada. But today, for too many young Canadians, that promise isn't being fulfilled. The hurdles are just too high. They are not getting their fair chance. Millennials and Gen Z have strived to pursue careers and start families in a time of high inflation, high interest rates, and high housing costs. People in that generation look at their parents and they wonder, how will I ever be able to afford that? What many parents have achieved for themselves, a degree of comfort and security, that's what we want for our children, for all of our country's children. We want their hard work to be rewarded, as it was for us. We want them to face the future with a feeling of anticipation rather than with angst. We've arrived at a pivotal moment for millennials and Gen Z. These young Canadians have so much talent and so much potential. And it is so important for them to see and feel that our wonderful country can and will work for them. That the promise of Canada is within reach, that they can reach it. What unites all of us right now in this moment is a desire and a plan to help everyone realize the promise of Canada and to help everyone in our country have that fair chance at a middle-class life. And here is how we're going to do it. First, we will turbocharge the construction of new homes across Canada. And that is because the best way to bring down home prices is to increase supply, and quickly. Deuxièmement, nous allons réduire le coût de la vie en améliorant le filet de sécurité sociale du Canada pour toutes les générations. Third, we're going to grow the economy in a way that is shared by everyone, to drive the kind of growth that will move the needle for all Canadians. We're going to use the upcoming budget to build on our efforts to increase investment, enhance productivity, and encourage the kind of game-changing innovation that will create good-paying and meaningful jobs and keep Canada at the economic forefront. We need to harmonize regulations between our provinces because free trade within our own country will increase everyone's prosperity from coast to coast to coast. Today, as a next step in our plan, I am here to announce what we're doing to help young parents across Canada by improving access to affordable early learning and childcare. Childcare is expensive. Without support from the government, the monthly costs of childcare can easily add up to the equivalent of a second mortgage or a second rent payment. And so many struggling parents across the country said exactly that to me as we were thinking about working on building our national program of early learning and childcare. I met with lots of groups of parents and they said, childcare, it's like a second mortgage. It just costs so much. Young people, and let's be candid, young women very often have to choose between having a family and having a career. That is not right. Notre gouvernement veut changer cela et nous allons changer cela. C'est pourquoi, il y a 3 ans, nous avons lancé notre programme pan-canadien abordable d'apprentissage et de garde de jeunes enfants. And we have delivered. Today, childcare fees are down by at least 50% across Canada. In 7 provinces and territories, including here in the great province of Manitoba, and soon it's going to be in 8 provinces and territories, childcare costs just $10 a day. What an accomplishment. Well done, Manitoba. What a relief for Manitoba families. What support that has given them with affordability and the cost of living. This year, Manitoba families are saving up to $2,600 per child. There are nearly 250,000 new childcare spaces on track to be created across Canada. And our affordable system of early learning and childcare has already enabled a record high labor force participation rate of 85.7% for working age Canadian women. That is huge. It is a much, much faster response, a much faster outcome than anyone was hoping for. It's a big deal for our economy. C'est un progrès important, mais nous devons en faire plus. Si vous parlez à de jeunes parents, ils vous diront à quel point il est difficile de trouver une place en garderie. Nous devons créer plus de places en garderie et nous avons besoin de plus d'enseignantes et enseignants à la petite enfance. So, in the upcoming federal budget, we will be launching a new child care expansion loan program. Yeah, that's going to deliver $1 billion in low-cost loans and $60 million in non-repayable grants to not-for-profit and public child care providers. This will make it possible to build new child care centers and to renovate existing early learning and child care centers. This is an investment that is going to help provide what we urgently need as a country, more places in great daycare centers like the one here at Red River College I had the privilege of visiting. We know it's what Canadians want and need. I had such a fun time at your Early Learning and Child Care Center earlier today. And one of the things the great educators who run it told me is there's more demand than they can accommodate. It's a wonderful place for a child to grow up in. And people here in Winnipeg know it. We need to have more places for our kids. This money is going to help build them. We also know early learning and childcare depends on our fabulous educators. So we are expanding the Canada Student Loan Forgiveness Program to include early learning and childcare educators who choose to work in rural and remote communities. We're going to invest $48 million in the program, and that will mean that student loan forgiveness will increase the longer an early learning and childcare educator works in a remote or rural area. Now, I want to emphasize something really important about what we're doing. We put this program in place, and it is in place now, for family physicians and nurse practitioners, because I think we all know how urgently we need doctors and nurse practitioners in our rural and remote communities. In extending this program to early learning and childcare educators, what we're saying is your work is every bit as essential. I want you really, all the teachers of the teachers and all the teachers who are here, to hear me say that and to understand that that is what we believe, and we are acting on that conviction. Because childcare truly is essential. Loan forgiveness for health professionals helps Canadians get the health care they need, and loan forgiveness for educators will help families get the child care they need. It will help our children learn and grow in the best possible environment. Et pour soutenir notre système de garde d'enfants abordable, qui est en pleine croissance, nous investissons 10 millions de dollars pour former de nouveaux enseignantes et enseignantes à la petite enfance. And let me just say, Red River College is the perfect place to make today's announcement. You have a fantastic child care center here for students and employees of Red River College. I had so much fun with your kids and with their teachers, and it was so evident to me what a nurturing and learning environment you have created. You have a wonderful program to train early child care educators, and it is very likely that your own students and graduates, like the Women of Steel, will be physically building the new child care spaces we need. Basically, Red River College is doing it all. Thank you, Fred and team. You have a whole ecosystem here that perfectly encompasses what we are trying to achieve, what we need to achieve as a country. Making childcare more affordable and accessible so young parents, especially young mothers, can have great careers and raise their families at the same time. And parents want to know, mothers want to know, when they're out working, that their children are in a great place that is great for them. We need to ensure that early learning and childcare is of the best possible quality. Teaching and respecting and paying early learning and childcare educators, the people who teach and raise our children in their formative years, is so important for us all. Our government first came to office with a vow to strengthen and expand the middle class. We delivered on that pledge by reducing poverty, especially for children and seniors, and creating millions of good jobs across Canada. Our work isn't over. In all we do, we dedicate ourselves to keeping the promise of Canada within reach for our younger generation, because that is what you have earned, that is what you deserve, and that is what we're going to make sure you have. And it is what your parents and your grandparents want for you too. So thank you very much. I'm happy to take your questions.
Q&A portion. portion of today's press conference. It'll be one question, one follow-up. Just say your name and your outlet. On va maintenant passer à la période de questions. Ça sera une question et une question en suivi. Veuillez noter votre nom et votre média. Merci.
And you can also ask my colleagues who are here questions too. I don't want to be greedy.
That's fine. Partly Kiva, CBC. What do you say to the various premiers as well as majority of Canadians, according to a poll, who don't want to see the carbon tax increase on April 1st?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And here's what I'd like to say. I think we all agree that pollution is expensive and polluting shouldn't be free. I think it's also really, really important to underline the facts. And the facts are that 8 out of 10 families in provinces that have a backstop on the price on pollution get back more than they pay in. A Manitoba family of 4 is going to get $1,200 this year. That is meaningful support. You asked about the premiers, and what I'd like to say to the premiers is, yesterday I was in BC. BC has its own provincial price on pollution. It's a system that was put in place by a centre-right government in 2008. It is robust. It has support of the people of BC. Quebec also has its own system. And for premiers who have questions around the federal backstop, I'd like to invite them, as the Prime Minister has, to work on their own provincial system. We're happy to work with them if that's a path that they would prefer. And the final thing I want to say about a price on pollution is, this is about doing the right thing for the environment, for sure. But having a climate plan is also essential in 2024 to having an economic plan. The only way that Canada can build an economy with good jobs is if one of its foundations is a strong environmental plan. If we don't have an environmental plan, people are just not going to buy the stuff that we build and sell them. So we need to recognize that it is not an option to not have an environmental plan. And one of the things that is really, really a threat for Canada is we have the Conservatives out there criticizing the price on pollution without offering any climate plan of their own. That, to not have a climate plan, is a disaster for Canada's economy. And I've been talking today about young Canadians because I think we all know we need to be sure the promise of Canada is open to them. It's also incredibly unfair of us today when we think about the younger generation.
And this isn't my follow-up, but could you please answer?
But it is?
No, it's not. Please
Okay.
answer also en français, s'il vous plaît.
You are totally right. That is not a follow-up, et avec plaisir. Alors, la pollution n'est pas et ne peut pas être gratuite. Notre prix sur la pollution et notre système fédéral dans les provinces dans lesquelles elle existe donnera plus à 8 sur 10 familles canadiennes. Ici en Manitoba, les familles manitobiennes vont recevoir $1,200 cette année pour une famille avec 4 personnes. C'est un montant réel. En plus, vous avez me demandé de la position des premiers ministres des provinces. Ma réponse est la réponse que le Premier ministre du Canada a donnée cette semaine. Et c'est que s'il y a des premiers ministres qui veulent créer sa propre système dans leur province et territoire, on accueillera cette initiative en Colombie-Britannique, au Québec. Il y a un système provincial créé bien avant les élections de 2015. Ces systèmes provinciaux fonctionnent et on invite tous les premiers ministres à faire cela chez eux. Pour finir, je dirais juste que c'est très important. On a parlé beaucoup aujourd'hui de l'économie. Et c'est très important pour tout le monde d'être consciente de la réalité du XXIe siècle. Et la réalité du XXIe siècle, c'est qu'on peut avoir un plan économique, un plan pour la croissance économique, juste en avoir un plan pour l'environnement. Et tous les critiques de notre plan environnemental doivent présenter leur plan environnemental. Parce que sans un plan environnemental, on ne pourra pas avoir un réel plan pour la croissance économique. Merci.
This is my actual follow-up. Given the fact that you and your colleagues have for a long time been touting the rebate, but increasingly Canadians don't seem to either believe it or buy it. How do you expect, and you have also, as a government, watered down the tax by exempting some fuels, creating what is a different playing field in different parts of the country. Pardon the preamble. How will you market this effectively? How will you convince Canadians who are increasingly not buying into it? How will you convince Canadians that this carbon tax is still an effective environmental tool, let alone a political tool?
Look, thank you for the question. And I do want to just respond a little bit to the preamble, just to say in all of the backstop provinces, exactly the same system and the same rules apply, and that is a very important national principle. When it comes to the views of Canadians, I think what's important is for us as a government to, first of all, be clear about the rebate and the significant value it delivers to Canadian families, to be clear about the reality that the price on pollution is entirely revenue neutral. None of the money collected stays with the federal government. It all goes back to Canadians. That's how the system was designed, and it's designed that way on purpose. And then, from my perspective, the really important thing is to talk about how essential it is today more than ever, and it becomes more true every single day, for our economic plan and our climate plan to work together. And, I truly, truly believe there is no way to build a 21st century economy in a trading nation like Canada without having a climate plan. Other countries simply will not buy what we produce unless we are producing it with clean energy, unless we are producing the things we export, the things that we have really, really good jobs producing and selling to the world as part of a comprehensive economic and environmental strategy.
Next question. Prochaine question.
C'est ça?
All right. Okay. That concludes
Wow.
today's press conference.